Well, it's been a few weeks now since we last saw you, and since then we've actually spent a considerable amount of time working on the old girl. Remember when we were last together, we were pulling all the interior apart? Well, we've completed that process and pulled it all apart and indeed put it all back together again, which you can see it's now mostly in the boat. We're also looking at doing a bit of work with the engine. We found that it had substantial hours on it and decided to actually take the whole engine out so that we could give it a bit of a birthday. We've given it a new paint job, and hence while we had everything out, we gave it all a complete new carpet job as well. We had to source the carpet out of the US, but we got the original carpet that went in this boat, and so it's got all brand new carpet, interior, completely redone motor, and even a brand new dashboard. Well, as you can see, the interior looks substantially better than it did just a little while ago. And as you also see, we managed to source all of the original colours that the boat was made with back in '92. So the guys at Trim Department and the girls have done a great job to actually duplicate exactly the same skins that we had in the first place. And then I've always wanted to say this, here's one we prepared earlier. There's a seat cushion there now with the plastic base instead of the timber. So we've basically got the interior all the way back to brand new as well. The most important part of any boat is, of course, the donk. Now, we talked back in, I think, Series 1 about whether we're going to leave it in, take it out, because we thought it had about 400 hours on it. Well, that wasn't the only thing on the dashboard that was broken. Certainly had done quite a bit more work than that, so we thought, let's get it out and give it a full birthday. So out she came, we stripped it all down, gave it a full paint job, new dizzy cap, new impeller, a few new parts, some new filters, gave it a compression test. It actually was in pretty good nick internally, but a few bits and pieces replaced and it tested perfectly. So painted her all up, put it back together, dropped it back in, and there it is. Well, down to the dashboard now. We talked about the engine being an important part, but of course the instruments are going to tell you what's going on. Now, as much daylight as the gel coat had seen, so the dashboard, it was actually cracked underneath and broken. The stereo part was busted, and the lenses on the gauges you actually couldn't see through anymore. So we looked and looked, and once we looked hard enough, we actually were lucky enough to find a brand new dash housing. So the whole thing was new, and ironically they come complete with brand new gauges. So how lucky was that? Now we've got a brand new fitting for the dash to go along with everything else that looks brand new. Well, there we have it, just like I bought one. Now, you remember we mentioned in show 1, the trailer didn't look too flash, and unfortunately it died a slow death of cancer as well. So we put a brand new trailer underneath it, and now it's all as good as the day it was made. So it's off on display, and if any time you want to drop by here at Malibu and have a look, you're more than welcome.